Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Radio Works World. My name is Jill Barham, the Miracle Molecule host. And today I'm having a light-hearted conversation with Agata. Hello.
Hello, very good afternoon to you.
Yes, it's afternoon. We're here in the UK. Are you in London, Agata?
Yes, I am, yes.
Okay, you're in London. Okay. So the very first thing that we need to do, Agata, is I'd like you to tell the viewers and the listeners, just in case they don't know you, what it is that you do, what you're passionate about, what you love to do, what you're known for.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you for having me on this program. I must say I was quite shocked. It was just such an amazing experience to be invited, so thank you so much. So yes, my name is Agata, and I am a mentor of excellence and identifier of void. What does it mean? I've founded my own mentoring company that's called AgaFlow. And basically that the AgaFlow program is helping individuals to raise their performance, maximize their potential. So that's what I concentrate on most of the time. But I also created a project, and it's called the Ordinary People's Extraordinary Lives Project, and it's been going on for about 2 years now. So I put quite a lot of time doing that as well.
Okay, brilliant. Well, we'll have a little bit more of a chat about that at the end of the show. But this particular show is all about getting to know you, Agata, behind all of the things that you do, into you and what makes you tick, basically, and how things are for you in your world. So I've got some questions for you, and just to tell the viewers that you haven't got an idea what I'm going to ask you, have you, Agata?
No, you haven't disclosed anything at all, and that's why I'm thinking, oh my Lord, what is she going to do or ask?
You really are in safe hands, I promise you. Okay, so the first question that I have to ask you is actually a scenario. I've got to paint a picture for you, okay? So I want you to imagine that you're in a really nice hotel and you're getting into the lift or the elevator, whatever you call it, on the bottom floor of the hotel. And you're going up to the top floor, which is where your lovely apartment is. And one other person gets into that lift with you. Now you get to about between floor 6 and 7, and the lift breaks down, and they phone you and say, oh my goodness, really sorry, but at least a couple of hours, maybe 3 hours. Don't worry, we are going to come and get you out. And you've got windows in the lift, so you're not going to get claustrophobic. What I'd like to know is, who is that other person that you would like to have got in the lift with you, dead or alive? Who would you like to spend 2 or 3 hours with, completely with their attention? Anybody from history or from now, who would you like to spend that 2 hours with?
Oh, wow. Oh, my Lord. I think I'm going to say Graham Hancock, who I absolutely admire. He's an author, and the books that he writes are about the ancient lost civilization. And I think if I had the opportunity to stay with him in that lift for 3 hours, I'm sure I would absolutely love that. Absolutely love that.
And how do you, when did you first meet? What's his name?
Graham Hancock.
Graham Hancock.
Sorry, you dropped out. What was it?
How long have you been aware of Graham Hancock? Is he somebody that you've followed for a long time?
Yes, and I think it's been about 4 years now, 4 or 5 years since I've been his follower, and he's just the most amazing, most intellectual, most all-dropping gentleman in his own right, but he inspires me so much with what he writes, the books that he writes, and the style that he writes with. It is something that just keeps my eyes wide open, and really, if anyone has the opportunity to get his books, absolutely recommend. He's just an awesome gentleman. Awesome.
Okay, all right. So, hours, your guest was on his way to lunch. And so we're going to need to feed him. We're going to need to give him something to eat. So what food would you share? I'm going to provide you with a lovely tablecloth, by the way, and, you know, nice cutlery and glassware and all the rest of it. So what food would you share with your guest in the lift? What food would you like me to magic you up? And something to drink.
Let me just think, because there is quite a lot that I like. Mm-hmm. Not particular, not, you know, I'm not very choosy also, but I quite like salmon. So I would probably make or have a salmon there with some garlic on the top, some herbs, mashed potato, but I would have to make that mashed potato because I make the best mashed potatoes in the world. And with some green beans, I think that would give me the juices flowing.
Okay, and would you have something after that?
I'm not very much a dessert person, and I don't really. I don't have a sweet tooth, but I would probably go for melon, like a fruit bowl with melon and papaya, mango, those type of fruits.
Okay, and what would you have to drink? What would you share with your guest? What would you drink?
You might find this funny, but I would give them water, nothing else but water. Because I think water has this tremendous amount of, I can't even name what it is, but when I drink water, it just refreshes me so much. And I actually think it has a taste. Many people don't, but I do. I think water is the best thing ever.
Yes, I'm on a bit of a mission to get all the world drinking 2 litres of water a day. So.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, because we're 72% water.
Yeah, absolutely. You got that right. And I quite actually like elderflower, but if I did have to choose out of the two, I would go with water.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you very much. All right, so now we're going to go back to the 18-year-old Agata. So I'd like you to share with us, please, where you were, what you were doing when you were 18, Agata.
That was the best time of my life. I mean, my whole childhood was really rich and adventurous and meaningful. But I remember when I reached the age of 18, I remember saying to my friends, this is it. I'm not going to get any older. This is where the age stops. And this is all I'm going to celebrate from now on, the 18th birthday. And actually, I must say that I don't associate myself with age at all. I mean, to me, it's just a number. And you may have heard this from other people yourself mentioning the same. But when I look at someone, or when I get 1 year younger, I'm not going to say older because I get 1 year younger. I just feel that it's just, like a period of your life, the memories that have now reached a point where you need to reflect back. But that's how I look at age.
Okay, so that's great. It's a great philosophy to have. It'd be lovely to think that we could all get younger. In fact, my biological age is going backwards, but that's a whole nother story. But where were you living when you were 18, Agata?
I was back home in Slovakia, and I remember telling my mum that this is it. I will never stop learning. I want to study and study my whole life and expand on my knowledge. And she says, well, we can't survive if you're going to be just studying. I said, well, I have no choice. This is my calling. I need to expand as much as I can, learn and experience things. So I remember that was the time of my life when I was reading a lot, and I was kind of getting to know myself a bit more. It was like, questions that came into my mind, and suddenly I started exploring something more to what I was used to in my beliefs, in my thoughts. So there was quite a lot of transformation going on at that stage of my life.
Even at 18, that's quite young actually for that transformation to take place. 18. Were you listening to music at that time, Agata?
I love all kinds of music. I mean, I love singing opera. That's one thing. I used to listen to Maria Callas a lot. But I like any type of music, and yes, to answer your question, yes, I listened quite a lot to mostly classical music.
Yes, and that's what you'd have been listening to at 18.
Yes, yeah.
Cool. Okay. All right. So now we're going to get to the 35-year-old Agata. So what were you doing? Where were you? What were you doing at 35?
Oh my God, goodness. I think I'm going to say this, which I feel very comfortable with. At 35, I was still with American Airlines, given I felt very privileged to be working for them, because I spent 17 years of my life really in American Airlines as an employee, and I feel that during that time, at the age of 35 and more, I have learned so much. I have been given so many opportunities that I don't think I've ever would have had if I was somewhere else. So that was a good time of my life for further expansion and testing my abilities and maximizing my potential, which I strongly believe in, that we all should have the opportunity to do so. So that was a good time of.
Were you where were you based at that point?
Here at London.
Yeah, you're based in London. And did you have a partner at that time? Was there somebody in your life at that time?
Let me think. Yes, at the time, yes. My daughter's father was still present, and yes, he was still present. I remember at that stage.
So you'd had a daughter by then, and how old was she?
That's a very good question. She's 12 now. So cast your
12 now.
Yeah.
I don't know how old you are now because I'm not subject to people.
Okay.
That you're over 30.
That's okay. That's okay. She was quite young. Young years of her life, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. Okay. So I have some quick fire questions now. So these just require a kind of an either or kind of answer. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So for you, is it TV or radio?
Definitely radio, because I don't watch TV. I haven't done it.
Okay. Fiction or non-fiction?
Non-fiction.
Are you the oldest, middle, or youngest child?
Youngest.
At school, were you the class clown, the goody two-shoes, a bit of a handful, or were you kind of just always under the radar?
I was more like an observer and very much driven by sports.
Aha.
And competition and sports were part of my life. I was representing my schools wherever I went, mostly in long distance running and shooting, target shooting.
Oh, wow. How exciting is that? That's really interesting. Yeah. Okay. And what's your best habit, Agata?
My best habit is that I constantly expanding my mind. I think, that's something, I'm a bit boring, really. I don't have anything exciting to say, but I love, reading and expanding my mind and see how far I can go with my abilities and my potential.
Your worst habit, then?
Worst habit? Ooh. Worst habit? Could reading a lot be a worst habit? Because I read a lot.
No. I don't think you can read too much.
Worst habit.
What would your daughter say?
Oh, she probably doesn't like me that I follow up on things. I'm a follow-upper. I mean, I have to draw, an end to anything and everything and complete a task. So I'm always kind of following up. Has she done her homework? Has she completed on this? And it probably drives her mad, totally mad. But that's
okay. That'll do. Your worst habits are very often something that somebody else has picked up on. Brilliant. Okay. And what do you do to relax? Apart from, I know that you read a lot, but what do you do to relax?
That's one thing probably I never do because I don't know how to. How do I relax?
Do you do any mindfulness or meditation?
Oh yes, I do. I do lots of meditations, and I love walking by the canal that is close to us, and I just love nature. I think that's where I feel totally one with everything, and very relaxed out in the nature. Yeah.
I think that counts.
Oh, good.
I think getting out in nature is one of the most important things that all of us need to do, and sometimes we just forget, and sometimes at the end of the day think, well, I haven't actually opened the door today. So being out in nature I think is really crucial. Okay, do you have any nicknames, Agata? Any pet names or nicknames that anybody has ever called you?
They call me Aggie for short, but
Aggie.
But I remember when when I was still with American Airlines. I remember I was on the phone and people would call me Maggie, and I was okay with it. They called me different names. So, but a pet name, not really, apart from just Aggie for short. I don't mind if you call me any names. It's fine.
Aggie's quite nice though. That's okay. That's acceptable.
Yeah. Oh, actually, let me tell you something. Oh, I remember my wonderful, most amazing, the best in the world dad used to tell me, or used to call me Citadella. Yeah. And
what does that mean?
I thought it was funny. Well, Citadella used to be in Egypt. It used to be like a town. It used to be called by the sea, like a citadel.
Oh, okay. Why did he call you that?
I have no idea. He came up with these words that I never heard before, and I thought, oh, that's quite interesting. No one ever called me that before, but he used to say, "Come here, Citadella."
Oh, that's really lovely. I like it. That's really lovely. Okay, and now you might not know this, but one of my big passions is singing. I studied singing at university and still sing now. And I've done lots of classical singing, and I do lots of kind of American. If I'm on stage and I'm going to get you up on stage with me, what's your karaoke song going to be?
ABBA.
Which one?
I quite like the Fernando.
We hear the drums, Fernando. Yeah. And we could sing a duet. That would be just super fine, wouldn't it?
Oh, I'd love that. When are you going to do that? Tell me.
Yeah, we need to organise that. That would be just super fun. Okay, brilliant. Okay, now I have another scenario for you. So just to tell you, I'm going to kind of give you the backstory to this. So I've been with my husband for 35 years this year. And I was a child bride, clearly. And 2 years ago, we went and spent a month in America and did 8 states and 3,300 miles. And we were together all the time, apart from a few hours when he went off on a motorbike. And I flopped my way around Las Vegas, which was hilarious. Wow. So I'd like to offer you the opportunity to go on holiday, and I'm going to pay for it and organize it. So the great thing about this holiday was the flights were organized, the routine was organized. We just showed up at the various hotels. All the stress was taken out of the holiday completely. So I'd like to know who you would take on holiday that you could spend a whole month with without having a crossword.
Can I just ask, did you say you're going to organize my tickets as well?
No. In theory.
I don't think I would let you. But no, who would that be? I think it would be my absolutely amazing partner, Dave, who he's a man with such intellect that it nourishes not only my soul, but my heart as well when he is around. He's just the most amazing soul. I mean, you know, a person that I've ever met.
Lovely.
Definitely him.
Definitely him. Brilliant. That's a lovely answer. Okay, now you mentioned your heart. Now, you know that probably nowadays, I don't know if you do know, I don't think you have my book. I'm not sure if you have my book. But my book is called The Heart of a Woman, How to Look After the Heart You Give to the World. So as a lifestyle, a wellness and vitality coach, what I love to be able to do is to help women particularly to look after themselves and to be the best that they can be, particularly as a busy woman and an entrepreneurial woman, and to put themselves first. So what I'd like to know is what you do in terms of whatever you do lifestyle wise, but also how do you nourish your.
Okay, so that's a very good question, and I actually am so pleased that you have asked, because this is one thing that I do every day. It's an exercise, something that I am committed to doing and will keep doing until I'm able to. This exercise really involves having 5, perhaps 10 minutes for myself, connecting to my body, connecting to my heart and my soul, and basically acknowledging that they are there, because at the end of the day, you know, they are the so-called drivers. They sit in the front seat, I'm in the back, so I just follow their guidance. But it's very important, I think it's very important to acknowledge that there is a heart that's running every day, that's pumping every day, that does its work. And by connecting to it, it makes the heart grow even kind of bigger. And I feel this sensation when I acknowledge my heart. I feel this sensation in my whole body, connecting to my soul, connecting to everything that I am. And I would never leave the house without doing this exercise. It's really important. You know, I acknowledge not only that there is a heart and there is a soul, and I am all about that. I'm fully me today. I'm fully my heart. I'm fully my soul. But the energy that I get out of it is I don't think there is a word to express what it feels like. I feel like I'm on top of the world. I feel that the energy that I have, I'm capable of doing anything with, and truly, this is just something that I do, and everyone would say probably their own practices, but this helps me when I connect to my heart tremendously to start my day off on the right path.
Brilliant. So some people would call it alignment, people would call it source, so actually, or balance, you know. And I think as we for people that are working with heart-centered coaches like us is that we may be coming at it from a slightly different angle, but we're all really looking at the same thing, is really dropping into that kind of heart-centered, that lovely alignment, that lovely sense of balance, where, you know, you're feeling the joy of every day, and really just being really centered, which is what you're talking about before, you know, the trials and the tribulations of the day, maybe even coming back to that later. There'll be lots of people who are listening and watching that will be able to relate to that and maybe understand that, but actually the work needs to be done on ourselves in order for us then to go out into the world and do whatever that it is that we need to do, whether it's a job or as a business. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And you have mentioned balance. I would also add to it. I would also think that it's a congruence of your whole being, of your values, and everything nicely comes together. And when you do something, you do it wholeheartedly, and you can't fault that when someone does, you know, through their hearts, whatever they do, and they do it well.
And I think, you know, what comes over on the screen is that when you have your, as you said, that congruence, is that it attracts people to you because they know that you're living the way that you're talking. So you're walking your talk.
Absolutely.
As somebody that is showing the way or helping people to live that better life of well-being, or whatever it is we want to call it, then I truly believe that we need that congruence and to be able to be walking our talk.
And of course, this also helps you, if I may just add, a fact that you will never let yourself down, because you are so congruent, so one with you know, everything that you are about. There is no failure. You look into the failure's eyes and say, okay, so I'm here and I failed, but I know I will not let myself down, because I live and engage myself in, you know, these activities with higher values. So out of every experience, it's a learning.
Yeah. And it's also a teaching, because especially for those of us that have children, because I talk about my book about, you know, deciding in this life whether you're going to be a good example or a horrible warning, and in all senses of the words. And of course, we have a responsibility as a mother, or as a parent, that we set that shining example, don't we? I truly believe that.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm so glad you mentioned, because one of my mottos is, I don't want to be better than anyone else. I just want to be better than I was yesterday and be a very good example to everyone. That's all I can do. I can't do anything more than that. No,
it's not setting ourselves up as some sort of, you know, oh, I've got it all right. That's not what it's about. You know, it's about actually saying, well, I'm still going through this journey as well, and I've learned some stuff, and I might be able to help you with some stuff. So are you going to come along for the ride with me or not?
Exactly.
Are you ready? Are you ready? That's generally the question I ask. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm. And
okay.
Yeah.
No, Carol?
No, I just wanted to add that oftentimes we don't even know when we are ready. So, you know.
No. And that's a really good point, because sometimes we need that little bit of a push to have something put in front of us to say, actually, you know, this stuff's going on for you, and how long are you going to ignore it for? Because if you keep ignoring it, it's gonna be your downfall. If not really coming from that angle, but coming to, well, think how much better life could be if we can even tweak this even more, so that you've got more joy, more abundance, more prosperity, you know, better relationships, you know, that you're living this, you know, your true, absolutely your true potential.
And you're living at a higher vibration, which the heart, you know, helps you to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so now we're creating a book of all of our light-hearted conversations with people of significance. that I'm going to be inviting you to be part of. And it's going all around the world in 80 days, the Jules Verne journey around the world in 80 days. But what we're also doing is we're creating a playlist as well. And every guest has got the opportunity of choosing one piece of music that is going to go onto this playlist. And I'd like you to tell us, please, what your piece of music would be that would make you feel light-hearted.
Ooh, that is such a lovely question. Such a lovely question. What is music? I'm going to stick to Maria Callas. I'm going to have to do that. Let her down. I'm just going to have to, because I feel so close, attracted to that voice.
Okay, but you have to choose one. You have to choose one thing.
Ave Maria?
Ave Maria? Is that what you're going to choose?
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. That's brilliant. That'll go on your playlist. We've had everything from Mozart to heavy metal and everything in between. So it's fabulous. It's going to be a really interesting playlist. Okay, now before we finish our call, thank you for being so open and honest and genuine and telling us a few of your secrets. Before we go though, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about what's coming up for you in the next month, maybe up till Christmas time. What are you really excited about? What's happening for you that you'd like to share with us?
First of all, I'd like to say that I'm just too happy to be here sitting right now, talking to you. I mean, that's a stone for me. And I do have a vision, and I do, plan a lot of things, because it's nice to know that there is something that I'm working towards. So one of the things that soon will be coming up is a book that I'm planning to have perhaps at the end of this year or early next year, but I can't tell you more about that just yet. I am thinking to organize another event for the ordinary people's extraordinary stories. People, I'd like ordinary people to come and share their story, which I did one already back in October last year, and it really just showed to me and all the others that dreams can come true, and it's going to come true again, sometimes very soon. And I will keep working and tirelessly towards the dream that I have, and that is to be the best, that I can be, organizing more events, more speaking events, and see how far that will take me. But I am fully aware of the present moment right now, and I'm just appreciative of that.
Well, it's lovely. Now, where can we find more about you? I've got your website here, which I'm going to put up on the screen. And where else can we find out more information about you?
You can go either on my Facebook page, under Agata, or Agata Tothova, my full name, or you could go on Twitter. You will find me there, or the LinkedIn page. So I'm basically.
What's your Twitter handle, Agata?
Twitter handle at TOTHOVA. AGATA. So it's just turned the other way around.
Tothova Agata.
Agata, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And there's your website. Can we get to both of your web?
I didn't hear you because you broke up, but yes, I will send you all the links. Yeah.
Okay. So I've put one link up, which is agaflow.co.uk. Can we get to both of your projects from that one website?
Yes, they will be all mentioned there. I mean, it's still under construction, almost finished now. But yes, everything can be found there, yes.
Okay, perfect. Well, I've had a lovely light-hearted conversation with you. I hope you've enjoyed yourself too.
Yes, I did. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And we're going to keep in touch. I think, you know, there's a lot of simpatico here. I've really enjoyed meeting you, and I can't wait to see you face to face.
Absolutely.
Maybe we'll see you in London.
And remember, we got to be singing together soon. So
we've got to be singing ABBA. Yeah, we have. Yeah, we need to organise that. Okay, you have a fabulous, and I'll talk to you really soon.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
Thanks for watching. Bye.